In a so-called free state, officials and stakeholders concoct solutions to problems often created by other bureaucrats and with little regard for infringements on the people. These stories are born at the apex of freedom and entrepreneurship. We foolishly advocate for the taxpayer. Brian's Beat presents Freedom Fools.
Catch that eagle and put it on the barbecue grill. Hour 2 of Freedom Fools on WBSM. I'm Brian. Glad to be with you. Is it true that the United States is aiding Israel in starving the folks in Gaza? We're not hearing anywhere near as much. It's not the lead story. It's not the lead story on Fox, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, CNN, not even our local news. People, I think ABC mentioned that 5 people dead today from starvation. Now, starvation doesn't just happen overnight. There is a system that's being deployed right now. There are people that are being shot trying to go for food aid, deliberately shot at. And we're aiding and abetting, we being the U.S. government, with all of this. I can't help but think that there are going to be massive repercussions from all of this. 508-996-0500. I do appreciate your patience, and a very good afternoon to you. Hello.
Hey, Brian.
Hey.
How's it going, Brian?
I'm winging, I'm wanging.
I want to talk about the police officer and also Market Basket.
Okay.
First on Officer Edwin Taj. The thing is, having a green card, you can't vote.
Correct.
You can't vote for elections. And according to a retired court clerk that called in to Mr. Santos, she says if he's found guilty of a crime, he's subject to deportation.
Correct.
And the whole thing with this, and we've talked about this over and over again, is the way this went about late at night on July 24th at night, where things were changed. All of a sudden, the policy, they said that the requirement of being a citizen no longer was a requirement. That had been changed way back. But no one seems to know when that way back is.
They said it was a long-standing policy.
Yeah, long-standing policy. And we're supposed to believe all the chicanery, whether it's City Solicitor Eric Jakes or Holly Antoon, Scott Carolla, Jonathan Darling, Eric B. Long, the mayor, some of the city council members. That's why you got out of here, Brian. You got out of New Bedford. You picked up and left no more taxes because of the clown show.
Well, one of the reasons
I'm pretty
anyway,
sure that's
yes.
why you left.
One of the reasons.
And also the scandal, too, with longevity pay, and then Police Chief Oliveira, who had signed an extension to his contract, abruptly resigned after that write-up in the Boston Globe. And now this whole crap with the requirement, the citizen requirement, everybody's backtracking. And this is the thing. If we can't trust the brass of the New Bedford Police Department and the mayor and the city council, most of the members, I mean, I think it's time to pick up and leave.
Well, I don't know that I was going to go down the particular road. I know I've had thoughts of it, but it's never surfaced. But you brought up an excellent point. Now you have to really think, especially when you bring up all the different things that have happened recently within the city of New Bedford.
Right. And
what about
where
is the trust factor? Where's
right,
if you can't trust your elected officials, Well, then what should you believe?
Correct. You've been lied to so many times and hoodwinked. Even if they speak the truth, you're not going to believe them. But the icing on the cake is when I was watching Channel 12 News, WPRI, and here comes City Council President Shane Burgo talking about the market basket, the write-up in the paper by Kevin Andrade in New Bedford Light about the 47 undocumented workers that were let go, and they have to prove that they have a social security card and the proper documents, and they can come back and work for the company. But City Council President Shane Burgo on Channel 12, he said that Market Basket should defend itself against ICE, that ICE is conducting fake audits, going after citizens. This isn't the border. This is the city of New Bedford is a safe city. Now, that was after Tuesday night when there was reported a young man of 17 years old, not too far away from Market Basket and Riverside Park, was shot between Coffin Avenue and Belleville Avenue. And Bristol County DA Tom Quinn III said that New Bedford, Acushnet Avenue, is Latin King territory. That's the icing on the cake.
I guess I'm missing what the district attorney had to say in Shane Burgo.
Well, because Shane Burgo is saying that this is a very safe city, that ICE doesn't need to be here, that they should be worrying about the border and not New Bedford and its citizens. A safe city when we know of all the gun shootings, especially a 17-year-old Tuesday night between Coffin and Belleville Avenue, not that far, about a block or so away from Market Basket. And the Latin Kings that Tom Quinn III, Bristol County DA, says that's Latin King territory, the Acushnet Avenue.
Acushnet Ave, but we're talking Belleville Ave.
Right. What I'm saying is crime. The crime is prevalent in our city.
But, part of what I'm hearing here is, and you didn't come out and say it, so I'm going to ask, are you trying to tell me that the Latin Kings of that area are here illegally?
Some may be here illegally, but
right.
we have a city council president.
We have to say that we don't know. I mean, that would be the safe answer.
This is the main point of emphasis here. We have a city council president, Shane Burgo, who's defending people to work here not only in the country but the city, undocumented, no social security number, no proof, documentation. A woman that had been working at Market Basket for over 2.5 years without a social security number, and she doesn't know why they're asking for it now.
Mm-hmm.
And Shane Burgo is saying that ICE is conducting fake audits.
Well, that is
after the citizens of the city.
That is where I would definitely throw the question down. How does he know that they're fake audits? Some of the other stuff, though, is hyperbole.
You're right, and he was saying that Market Basket should defend itself against ICE and these so-called fake audits.
Yeah,
that the ICE doesn't have to be here because this is a safe city.
Well, I would say
this ain't the border.
Hold on, here just to cut this off and go on to something else. I would say this to Councilor Burgo, President Burgo. Prove to us that these were fake audits. All right,
exactly. And prove to us that these people have the proper documentation. Social security cards and all the other Americans need to get employment.
No, I leave those folks out of it for now. He is saying that ICE is conducting fake audits. Let's let ICE prove and Burgo prove that they are fake audits. These people are out the door right now. They did not come in with a card, so seemingly they don't have one. I appreciate the call. Thank you much. Do I have time for one more? Yes, we do. Hello.
I feel fortunate now that you picked up the phone.
Well, I'll hang up if you'd like.
Well, there were a lot of topics in the last call. I got lost.
Bring it, my man. Bring it.
But I get lost early. Anyway, I just want to go back to Palestine and the whole issue of starvation. So I started hearing about this a little while ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I was catching a lot of local YouTube videos of Palestinians on their own local press complaining that Hamas needs to get to the table because they're dying on the streets. And, there's a lot of consternation right now with Palestinians and Hamas because Hamas, could sit down and could, get all these things worked out, make sure food distribution is working out. But they're not. And I'm not giving a pass on Israel, but Hamas is just as much to blame. I think that I think the Palestinians are caught in the middle. I don't think that that Hamas is doing anywhere near the type of support that they should be doing for the people of Palestine. That's for sure. And I don't care about the borders. I just talk about the people. So
I think you make a good point. Hamas, for whatever it's worth, they have been able to come out and state what they want, and it seems that Israel is trying to get an unconditional surrender in something that they're not winning, and so
right.
that's why Hamas is doing what they're doing. I'm not trying to take a side. I do want the Palestinians to have a homeland, but in the argument that you're bringing up, this is what Hamas is stating.
Right. I mean, there have been videos of Hamas storage of. I think I brought this up to you before of foodstuffs, and then the Palestinians broke into the storage area and then literally tore it apart, obviously, to get the food out to people. And I'm not giving a pass on Israel. I think Netanyahu is he's as hawkish as it gets, and that's his only claim to fame.
Hawkish?
Yeah.
That's the line you're going to use. Hawkish.
Well,
the man is leading an ethnic cleansing, and hawkish is what you want to use.
Well, you can use any word you want to use. I got a word for Shane Burgo. It's a 4-letter word.
But you can't say that on the radio.
No, not that one.
Oh.
I was going to say
you
dope.
can't say the other one either.
No, I'm not going to. He's a dope. Oh, all right. I'll pass on hawkish. How about that? That's more than 4 letters. But Shane Burgo's a dope.
Okay.
That guy gets all of his talking points from the NGOs that are in New Bedford. Then he goes out and he's pounding his fist on the table. But if you started a topic with the guy, I guarantee you he couldn't figure it out. He'd get lost in the topic. Yeah. No.
Well, I have sent messages to him, but he doesn't want to reply. So, what can I say?
Well, what can you say? See, I think if you want to, well, probably because he has to go check with someone first before he replies. What do we do now, Ma?
He's the president. He has to go to himself and say, should I talk to Brian, or should I not talk to Brian?
Well, he's not going to himself. He's talking to who he's got to. He's a made man like they were in the mafia. He's got to go do what they say. But anyway, I sympathize with the Palestinian people because they're getting wiped out on both sides. So you could definitely say Netanyahu is ethnic
hawkish.
cleansing.
He's hawkish.
No, don't say that word. That's a horrible word. But on the other side, the Palestinians are being treated, kind of as cannon fodder with Hamas at this point.
So I'm glad since you went down this road, and I'm going to give you the last word on this.
Uh-oh.
And that would no. This has been going on for a couple of years. I mean, it has been a slaughter. Correct? Can we agree?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Why is it, never mind whatever the United States of America is doing, why is it that the rest of the world, who seems to be complaining about this, isn't really doing anything else about this? The Yemenis, all the power to them for fighting Israel the way that they have fought them, but nobody else is. Could be China, could be Russia, could be India, could be Iran, let me throw that one in there too. But there are many other nations, whether you are a Muslim, Islamic nation, South Americans, there are plenty of nations. Nobody else is helping out.
Dude, every time, I totally understand, and I agree. Every time there's a country-to-country skirmish in Africa, do you see it on the news here? Is there like even a world news segment of the news here? No. You go to Europe, you see it all the time. I was in Paris, they covered Africa news for like 25 minutes. And I'm thinking, oh boy, I've never even seen all this stuff, heard of this stuff. Because, these powers, whether it's Axis powers between China and Iran and Russia and whoever, and the United States and England and whoever, I mean, it's not interesting because there's no resources to steal. So, Afghanistan became an issue because they realized that there were rare earth resources.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, rare earth resources. They knew there was poppy there, and they could make real good money off of that.
Well, that too, but in the base of those mountains, at the base, there is at the time that's what they needed to make cell phone batteries with and all that stuff. All I'm saying is that it's the same thing as Africa. What's going on? They don't. No, U.S. is never going to care enough, and that's why I wonder if we're good enough to be a world leader in some ways.
I'm not sure that we are. I think we are brainwashed to believe that we are the world leader. That our presidents are the lead. The leader of the free world. Well, ain't nothing free out there.
No, I agree with you.
All right, man.
See you, man.
Talk to you. 508-996-0500. All right, so we do have people in the United States protesting against what's going on in Gaza and the West Bank and Syria. And that's fine to get out there and protest. I don't see any of the big companies saying that they're going to boycott Israel. I do see companies throughout the world, starting to say, okay, no longer are we going to be giving to Israel. And I find it hard to figure out what Turkey is doing. It's kind of like their name. They're either Turkey or they're Turkiya. They're letting Israelis into their country, and yet they are vocally speaking against what Israel is doing, and they're not fighting against what Israel is, So what the heck is going on? Australia, I'm not expecting them to do anything different. Same with New Zealand. New Zealand, Australia, you might as well just take those islands and stick them somewhere in Europe and say, okay, well, now you're all part of this, and you got the United States and Canada. But after that, most of the nations of the world have been speaking out. They're conferences. One called the Hague Conference, and they have decided that they are no longer going to do business with Israel. All right, I guess that's a good start. It's, you can do a war of attrition, but while you're doing the war of attrition, you've got a whole bunch of people starving. I don't know that Israel would lose a war of attrition, with the United States still feeding it ammunition, but certainly that they're going to be able to outlast the folks that aren't getting any food.
This is an act of terror.
This is...
Yes, welcome back. 508-996-0500. This whole market basket story, Kevin G. Andrade, he is a reporter with New Bedford Light. He is also the person who wrote the story last week about Officer Taj. And I'm guessing the story that we're dealing with, New Bedford market basket suspends 47 immigrants after I-9 audit, came out on Wednesday or Thursday. I think I know I saw the story early yesterday morning, and woman friend actually told me about what had happened over at Market Basket. That, what she heard, woman friend, what she heard is that Market Basket fired a lot of people. Well, truth be told, Market Basket suspended 47 employees. As the story goes, as Kevin G. Andrade wrote, these employees were asked to present the Social Security cards that they used when they first got their employment. And again, this is a humble guess on my part, there were really more than 47 employees that were asked to give these cards. 47 could not come up with the card. And because of that, and because of the so-called I-9 audit, Market Basket was in a very delicate position. You keep the employees on, Market Basket then is breaking the law. And then they're up to who knows how many fines. And with all of the turmoil going on at the top with Market Basket, if you are the manager of that Market Basket, are you risking your job, or maybe heavy fines on the store? I don't think so. And by the way, that manager, the general manager of that Market Basket, I've known him for several years. He used to be manager there. He was then shifted over to the Fall River store, where he managed over there for a couple of years, and then brought back to New Bedford. And he is the type of manager who not only walks the floor, but if he sees something out of sorts, he doesn't tell another employee, hey, go fix that. He fixes it himself. That's the type of guy, very friendly, affable is the word that I would like to use. So, considering where that Market Basket is located and the community that it's located in, it had to be a very difficult decision to let these employees go. But there really isn't that much of a choice. You keep them, all of a sudden the store is in hot water. The folks could not show a Social Security card. Now, personally, I don't think a Social Security card is supposed to be used for identification. That's the way that they were born way back when, back in the 30s and 40s. But, it's been decades since they have been a form of identification. And anybody that is an employee today, you've got to show that proof of employment, either an ITIN, which is an International Tax Identification Number, or a Social Security number. These folks couldn't show a Social Security number, and my guess is they couldn't show an ITIN. And so they were suspended. They were told, according to Andrade's article, they were told, you come back with the Social Security number, we'll gladly give you your job back. Now, there's some folks that don't believe that they'll get the job back, but that's what they were told. What I found very, very disturbing is that some of these Market Basket employees, they, in my words now, they thought they had a God-given right to a job. So some of these employees who don't want to give their name, former employees who don't want to give their name because A, they may want to go back to work at Market Basket, or B, they have to worry about ICE hovering around the area. They were surprised that when they were terminated or suspended, that Market Basket wouldn't help them find another job. Hello. wait a minute, you don't have a Social Security card. What do you expect Market Basket to do? Or maybe, I know it's me. I need to calm down. I need to think, well, of course. Now, the guy, Adrian Ventura, who runs the Centro Comunitario, and I can't pronounce the last word, he is thinking about reaching out to some agency to see if maybe what Market Basket has done is a violation of state law. Apparently, if you let go X amount of employees at a given time, you got to help them find other work. I think this is an entirely different situation. They were let go because they are now considered unemployable. They weren't let go because of a work stoppage. They weren't let go because the company is running low on funds. They were let go because they could not produce a Social Security card, the one that they used when they were employed. So to those workers, I'm sorry for you. I really am. I would look at it from a different angle, especially with all the crap that is going on right now. You may have lost a job, but you didn't get deported down to Alligator Alcatraz. That's how I would look at it at this particular time. And I don't want you to be deported or caged and sent down to Alligator Alcatraz. So figure it out. Oh, excuse me. There was one other person who I've got the statement right here. I got to read this to you because this is the thought process. A colleague told me they were firing people. They called them into a meeting in the morning and said they were suspended. It was sad for me, said a woman who requested anonymity due to her immigration status. They didn't give us any warning, and it took me by surprise. Where am I going to find work? No one is hiring now. Am I missing something? Aren't there still a lot of places that are looking for workers? Okay, and one final, again, from somebody who does not want to be known by her own name. She calls herself Elizabeth. A Social Security card is not just something you can go buy. Hello? How did you get the Social Security card in the first place? And if not you, maybe you were one of those who somehow you weren't asked for one. But there are others that could not show one after showing one the first time. How did they get their card if they're not here legally? Elizabeth, can you hear me? 508-996-0500. Hello.
Hello, my friend. Remember back about, what was it, 6.5, 7 years ago when Market Basket had the issue with the president and they were going to be moving around. The president of Market Basket demolished the old elder and the board back and forth, and they talked about restructuring from top to bottom. So from that point forward, so now, usually in a company that big, so you have a human resource office. So whether the person is walking in and filling out an actual paper application or somebody assists them or they do it online, so there's a portion where it asks you, do you have a Social Security card? Right?
Well, I don't know if it asks you if you have the card, but they certainly ask you for your Social Security number. No, they ask for your Social Security number, and then they take a picture of it.
Right. So would that be the manager? Does that to everybody who's hired, or is that human resources?
I would think human resources. So Market Basket has, I believe, 80 or 90 some odd stores. There is a human resources department up in Methuen or wherever their headquarters are. But each store also has a human resources department.
Right. So I would think that's the person who would be taking everything, screening it, going through everything, and then presenting it for the manager to look at, take a glimpse, and say, okay, this person. So all 47 of these people were never looked at? Or were they just looked at and said, well, we need these positions because we're coming into the summertime, let's hire them?
So I think that they were employed. I think the way I'm reading the story, and again, I could be reading this incorrectly, I'm reading that at one particular time, they showed up with a Social Security card, or the majority of them did. Mm-hmm. When they were asked to present it a second time, they didn't have that card.
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying. When I came on, you were just starting to explain that, like, how did that process happen? Now you brought a full circle. Kind of makes sense. It's a sad thing, but you're right. So now going down the hill, where do they go and get another job? As you said, like Elizabeth said. So sad. And this lets you right in our back door here. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, Elizabeth has some figuring out to do. You know, this is what you can see the story for yourself in New Bedford Light. I felt it was unjust. This is what she said. I felt it was unjust. How did you get in the door in the first place? You felt it was unjust. Okay. Management didn't seem to think of us as people. They treated us like we were disposable, like we were garbage. Really? Really? You got in by some type of means that isn't allowed right now, and management is treating you like garbage.
Yep. And on a positive note, I am all week, I've listened at different times, different people. Right now, down the south end, Mount Carmel celebration is going on. And I had not heard one person this week talk about it. Everybody knows about the feast next week. But Mount Carmel used to be one of the big ones other than the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament. And I was shocked that all week on this radio station, I did not hear one person mention them.
Well, going on right now. I'm going to raise my hand. I did not mention it. And you know why? Don't know what it is.
Oh, you don't?
No. Nope.
You know where the Mount Carmel Church is? On Rivet Street?
Yes, I do. I've driven by it numerous times. Yeah.
It's always the week before the Feast of Madeira.
Yes, and I do know that they kind of decorate the street, and it gets very, when you're driving the cab, it's very difficult to get by that area during this particular time. I didn't know what it was called, though.
The side street gets blocked off and stuff. Yep. So it's tonight and tomorrow, so if people want something to do. But always a pleasure, my friend. I'm glad you got this time slot. You've earned it, my friend.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. 508-996-0500. Should I tell the truth? It was open, and I asked for it. That's all. It was cool. Great people here. Let me make the move. I think a question. How do you feel? Maybe you haven't applied for a job in a long time. But how do you feel having to show your Social Security card to prove that you are eligible to work in the United States? Now, this is something born out of the mid-1980s. Sometime after the immigration reform under President Reagan, we then had to start showing Social Security numbers. First time for me it happened was in 1987 when I was reporting for a job in Monterey, California, coming down from Seattle. Because I remember going up to Seattle, nobody asked for that kind of information. But coming down, when I got there, I was told, "Oh, we need your Social Security card," and I was puzzled. For what? Because it's not supposed to be for identification. And they said, well, if you really want to work here, we got to do it. And rather than go through all the, the way Brian would hassle about that kind of stuff, I said, all right, whatever. And I gave the card, wanted to make sure the first paycheck came on time. And then I'm made privy of what the law reads, and I'm thinking to myself, really? So this is how they have been able to maneuver to make sure that we show our Social Security number to folks. It's supposed to be something private. Don't let your Social Security number out. But now you give it to employers. It goes into some kind of file, and usually those files are now on some type of computer, on some hard drive. Anybody can steal it. When you go to get a driver's license or even a state ID, you have to show your actually, you don't have to, but it is highly recommended, and you'll go through a battle royale if you don't want to show it. I remember in 1990 when I had to change my license from a California license to a Massachusetts license, and I'm standing there at the registry, and I said, no. I'm not giving you my Social Security number, because I was vehement at that time. I knew that you didn't have to give a Social Security number, but it went up the chain of command all the way up to the top before they came back down and said, okay, we're just going to give you this particular number to use. I don't know that I could win that battle today after everything that's gone on. But our Social Security numbers are not supposed to be an identifying factor, whether you are here legally or not. I should say it like this, whether you are a citizen or not a citizen, but you are here legally. So I feel sorry for these people that were working at Market Basket. But to turn around and point the finger at Market Basket when you were not correctly employed, rightfully or legally employed, is, I'm sorry, that is dumb. All right. I know you might only be 22 or 40 years old, but you should know better. And if you don't know better, somebody, maybe your husband, your brother, your cousin, or your 2-year-old daughter, somebody should know better. To think that you are fired because you don't have proper paperwork, and that company that is, suspending you is now going to turn around and try to find you work. Are you serious? Is that head bolted on tight enough? Do we have to call Herman Munster in and tighten those bolts? Let's continue. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Happening.
Hey, you know that by September 30th, the Social Security checks will no longer be sending people paper checks. They're going to be, you have to set up an electronic account.
No, I did not know that.
Digital money, one step closer toward paper trail money going away.
Well, I would say this to you. They have been sending out checks directly to your bank account for a number of years. So that there may be some that I'll take your word for it. I guess they do.
A lot of people get them to their home.
I guess they do. But this was going to happen. I don't want to make it sound like this is something unfathomable.
Yeah, that's why they add raising the debt ceiling on these bills. That's why they pass these genius acts. That's why they don't care about the debt, because they want it to collapse if they can offer this. Chaos gets put in, problem, reaction, solution. They totally create a problem so that your reaction is their solution that they had planned, but they need your reaction.
Yep.
So they create the problem.
I know that story, that scenario, yes.
Hey, did you hear Trump saying about this? It's all a big scam. About this, the Russiagate thing, and Tulsi Gabbard found some new things. Now, I saw Trump on a video saying, "Oh, Obama has to thank me because now he has immunity." So they work together to take this to the Supreme Court so that now it makes the president like a king, and all the people that were celebrating just because their boy was not going to get the hammer thrown on him, now it comes back to backfire because now we basically made the president like a king. And it's just going to get worse. And you know that in Israel, they're going to annex the West Bank.
They're already trying to do it. What do you mean they're going to?
Yep. They voted in the Knesset.
They voted to allow it to happen. They didn't vote it to make it happen. I'm not saying it's not. There's two different things. The Knesset voted to allow that move to happen. They did not vote it to happen. And in their mind, that's right. It's a preliminary vote. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. In fact, as I look at what's going on over there right now, they are doing it.
Yes, the settlers are going crazy. They just killed an American citizen over there. He's visiting his family.
Yep.
And they're currently bombing
2 weeks ago.
Five different countries. Yeah. They're currently bombing ridiculous amount of countries.
So, let's look at it from what it is. There's been more than one U.S. citizen killed over there. And let's be clear, the U.S. citizen that we're talking about from 2 weeks ago, he wasn't a dual citizen like Israeli plus United States citizen. He was a U.S. citizen
from Tampa.
Who was from where?
From Tampa, Florida.
Oh, Tampa. Okay, I thought you said Canada for a second. Yes, he was from
Tampa,
Florida, and he was visiting family over in the West Bank, and he was beaten to death. And not only was he beaten to death, but the IDF did not allow the ambulance to get through in order to let this guy live. He was beaten to death by settlers. And so I ask you this question. Where is President Trump in this particular case? Where is Vice President Vance? Where is Marco Rubio, Secretary of State? Where is Huckabee? Huckleberry B. What the hell is he doing?
He made some posts saying, "Oh, France, you recognize Palestine? Why don't you give them a French Riviera? You can call it Frankenstein." He's an absolute Satanist as well. All these people are sitting on Netanyahu's lap, seeing who can stick their tongue down his throat the quickest.
Oh, God. Okay, thanks. I appreciate it. I appreciate the call, not the tongue action. 508-996-0500. But I would ask the question, where's the outrage? A U.S. citizen was beaten to death by Israeli settlers. He was not doing anything wrong. Not my words. I'm repeating what others who were there have stated, whether they were Palestinian or Jews. A U.S. citizen was beaten to death by Israeli settlers for no reason. In fact, the settlers also killed somebody else who was, I believe, local to that area. And the best thing that Huckabee could come up with is, well, the Israelis are going to investigate. Well, the U.S. Dead person's father, that's not good enough for him. He wants the United States to investigate. I would say to that father, who probably is not listening courtesy of the WBSM app, but I would say to that father, the United States Army, the United States Secretary of State, the United States CIA, whomever, they can investigate. But, man, you will not like what they're going to come back with for in a report. It's going to be erroneous, and at best, it's going to make your son look terrible.
That success and failure are not different paths. Success and failure are on the same path. The only way that you will succeed is to literally fail every single day.
So let me get this straight. We've got a New Bedford police officer who isn't a U.S. citizen and people are in an uproar. We have a U.S. citizen who was intentionally murdered by Israeli settlers, and we don't really care about that? How do you figure? Hello.
Hello, Brian.
Hello.
Hey, I hear people talking about needing a Social Security card to work. I'm a small business employer in the town of Fairhaven. You don't need to present a Social Security card. And if you do, it's not for identification. You need to provide a legal identification of some sort, such as a driver's license, a photo ID. A high school student could use a school ID with their picture on it. Then in addition to that, you have to prove that you're legal to work in this country by showing either a birth certificate, a passport, or a Social Security card or green card or whatever they call it these days. But the Social Security card is not used for identification.
Well, how come they took my card and looked at my, to have my number?
Well, they need your number for tax purposes when they pay you.
But I gave them my number just by writing it down on the application.
But then you also have to show them either a birth certificate, a passport, or your Social Security card. That proves that you're legal to work in the country.
Got you. All right, hey, only because of time. Did you want to add something real quick?
I was just going to say, because an employer has to verify that on an I-9 and swear that they've taken one of those documents.
I think you're right. Look, if you who you say you are, you probably know what you're talking about. Last time I had to do something like that was in the early 1990s, so I haven't had to go down that particular road anymore, and hopefully I never do again.